define culture as something as something basically that like helps define a person as a person, or like that society in general.
I would say that culture is the set of beliefs that a group of people have in the same area and how they relate to each other and how we all get along and share the same traditions and values and have the same cultural norms and stuff like that.
It's always a relatively large group of people that define and make up a culture, which then is also made up of like the things they like, the things they dislike, their own beliefs, their own systems of beliefs, their injustice, like all of that.
Open-minded about culture is about like accepting other people's beliefs and values even if they're different from your own. So if someone has a different religious belief, being accepting of them and like understanding that their beliefs are different than yours but you can still get along with them.
If a culture thinks one way, don't be like, well, that's stupid. Or like be dismissive or anything like that, because there's always a reason behind something, but especially in culture, there's a big reason.
Respecting like your own culture as well as other people's and their traditions and the things that they do that define who they are.
It can mean that you're willing to try new things, whether that be simply food in general.
Yeah, I think we take for granted the fact that our culture is made up of many different cultures. I think we tend to forget that, and especially around like the holidays where there are different cultures, we forget that there are other people who are celebrating in different ways.
I do think that we take some aspects of American culture for granted. We have pretty much access to everything that we could want, and a lot of countries don't have those same things that we have access to. Like, we're only a small percent of the population, but we have a lot more of the resources that other countries don't have, and they make up greater percentages of the population.
A lot of Americans, like, our culture believes that it's good to be loud, it's good to be able to talk on the phone. No, it's not. It's good to be able to go to a stranger and ask for ketchup. I feel like that's something we really take for granted, because a lot of other cultures, they don't stress being overly open and friendly and having that kind of worldview. I know like the Japanese culture, they very much are, even in their classrooms, and I've talked to university students over there, and they're very much like, you don't make eye contact with professors or teachers or anything like that.
In American culture, at least in a smaller city like Waukesha, we tend to rely on our cars. We have more private transportation than public transportation. We do have public transportations, but it's obviously not as utilized as our own cars.
CE was in Brussels, Belgium, and I would say that I obtained more of an observer's like way of thinking, watching other people in their culture and things like that.
I went to Japan. The most interesting and important things I learned was that, like, within a culture, there are different contrasts that may seem odd. Like, I mean, we always joke that, you know, Americans, yeah, like, we're all the same. We're not. There are differences within our culture that are also important. I mean, if you go, the Midwest has their own culture. Within that, Wisconsinites have their own culture. Illinoisans have their own culture.
In Hawaii, I learned that they live a very different lifestyle than we do. They're much more conservative of their resources. It's basically banned to use plastic bags in grocery stores, so you have to bring your own bags if you want to buy more than like a couple items.
So you brought in Athens. Ah. Luckily I wore the sweatshirt today. There are many days where we were maybe an hour late or a half hour late just because we happened to get lost or just we were experiencing the culture and just kind of lost track of time, and just kind of having our own kind of fun. I mean, we made sure to tell the people that were in charge that we're late. Well, great thing with Carroll is you'll have a cultural experience, whether it be in the United States or out.
For whatever culture you deal with, but experience or anything, definitely keep that open mind, but also know a little bit about the culture before you go visit or anything like that, because it helps to have that kind of context.
Just take it all in, be patient, and really enjoy the relationships you make while on your cultural experience.
I would say to the freshmen that they should pick a CCE trip that is really interesting to them, because it's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime chance to travel to some of these places.
There's like festivals going on, go to them, experience them, even if that may not be a religion that you express or something that you may not be interested in. You can always find out your true passion with it. I went to an archaeological museum, didn't have much appreciation for pottery before that trip, but it turned out pretty good, and I learned a lot from it.